Someone didn't text you back. That's it. That's the whole event. One unanswered message. And yet, something inside you goes completely sideways. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts replaying every conversation you've had with this person, searching for what you did wrong. You feel a pull toward your phone so strong it's almost physical. And somewhere underneath all of it, beneath the embarrassment and the overthinking, there's something that feels disturbingly close to panic. That seems like a massive overreaction to a text message, and you know it. You know it, and yet you can't stop. Here's the thing. Your brain isn't overreacting. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. The problem is that it was built for a world that no longer exists, and the gap between that ancient world and this one is quietly running your emotional life in ways you've never fully understood. But the real reason your brain treats rejection like a crisis, that answer is far stranger than you've been told. What if social rejection and physical pain share the same emergency system inside your body? What if the same part of your brain that screams when you burn your hand is the same part that fires when someone pulls away from you? That's not a metaphor, that's neuroscience. And understanding it changes everything about why you feel the way you feel. In 2003, neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran an experiment that quietly rewrote how researchers think about rejection. She placed participants inside an fMRI scanner and had them play a simple virtual ball-tossing game with two other players. Then, midway through, the other players stopped throwing the ball to them. They were excluded, silently, without explanation. And their brains? The region that lit up was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that activates when you experience physical pain. Being left out of a game. The same neural signature as breaking a bone. But why? Why would evolution wire you this way? Why would your brain treat a social slight like a physical wound? The answer starts about 300,000 years ago, and it requires you to understand something uncomfortable about what your ancestors actually faced every single day. Your ancestors did not survive alone. That's not a warm sentiment about community. That's a brutal biological fact. A lone human on the African savanna wasn't a free spirit. A lone human was a corpse waiting to happen. Without the group, there was no fire, no shared lookout, no coordinated hunting, no protection from predators. Being cast out of the group was not a social inconvenience. It was a death sentence, almost guaranteed, often within days. Your brain learned this. Deep in its architecture, over hundreds of thousands of years, it encoded one of the most powerful survival rules in human history. Social disconnection equals mortal danger. Respond to it immediately. Respond to it with everything you have. And here's where it gets stranger. Because evolution doesn't get to update its software every few years. The system your ancestors built doesn't know you're living in a city with 7 million people around you. It doesn't know that you have other friends, other options, other texts to send. It only knows one thing. The signal just changed. Someone pulled away. Threat detected. Emergency response initiated. That's not weakness. That's an ancient alarm system doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is, the alarm is calibrated for a world that no longer exists. But here's what most people miss. This isn't just about pain. Your brain does something else with rejection that's even more revealing. Psychologist Roy Baumeister at the University of Florida spent years studying what happens to people cognitively after social rejection. What he found surprised even him. When people were excluded, their cognitive performance dropped sharply. Reasoning ability, short-term memory, decision-making, all of it faltered. Participants who had just experienced rejection made riskier choices, showed less self-control, and struggled to think clearly. Rejection doesn't just hurt. It temporarily impairs your brain. Think about that. You've felt this. You're in a conflict with someone important to you, and suddenly you can't think straight. You say the wrong thing. You misread the situation. You make it worse. And part of you wonders why you can't just stay calm and rational. Now you know why. Your brain has been pulled into emergency mode. And emergency mode isn't built for nuance. It's built for survival. But there's one more layer to this, and it's the one that most people never connect. Your brain doesn't just respond to rejection. It anticipates it, watches for it, scans every social interaction for early warning signs. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The more rejection you've experienced, the more sensitized that system becomes. Psychologist Mark Leary developed a concept he called sociometer theory. The idea that your self-esteem isn't really about how good you feel about yourself in isolation. It functions as a real-time meter of your social standing. When that meter drops, when someone excludes you, criticizes you, or simply doesn't choose you, your self-esteem falls not because you've done something wrong, but because your ancient brain is calculating your odds of group survival and updating accordingly.
This is why rejection doesn't just feel bad. It feels like evidence. Evidence about your value, your worth, your place in the world. Your brain takes the data from one unanswered text and extrapolates it into something enormous. And that extrapolation, it made perfect sense 300,000 years ago, when your position in the group truly did determine whether you lived or died. Most people never realize this. They think the pain of rejection is a personal failing, a sign they're too sensitive, too needy, too fragile. But the pain isn't a flaw, it's a feature that kept your ancestors alive long enough to produce you. The real question is what you do with that feature now. Because here's where the ancient and the modern collide in your actual everyday life. That sting you feel when someone doesn't invite you to something. The way you obsessively reread a message looking for hidden meaning. The 2 hours you spend thinking about a 5-second moment at a party where someone seemed cold. Your brain is treating these events as survival data. It's asking the only question it knows how to ask. Am I still safe within the group? And once you understand that, something shifts. The pain doesn't disappear, but it stops being mysterious. You stop interpreting it as proof of something wrong with you, and you start recognizing it for what it is, an ancient system doing an ancient job in a world it wasn't designed for. That doesn't mean the feeling isn't real. It's absolutely real. It means the interpretation your brain attaches to it, that you are in danger, that you are unworthy, that this is catastrophic, that interpretation deserves a second look. Your brain fires the alarm. You don't have to believe everything the alarm says. So the next time your chest tightens over something small, a message left unread, an invitation that didn't come, a room where someone looked past you, notice what's happening underneath the feeling. Not weakness, not irrationality. 300,000 years of survival intelligence, doing its job in a world it no longer recognizes. That unanswered text isn't a death sentence, but your brain for just a moment genuinely isn't sure. And now you are. If you're the kind of person who needs to understand not just what you feel, but why, there's another layer to this story. It connects to how your brain was shaped by something even older than social rejection, something that quietly controls who you trust, who you love, and who you push away before they can leave. That pattern runs deeper than most people realize, and once you see it, you'll recognize it everywhere.